Nvidia just announced the new 50 series laptop GPUs, and at the same time, both Intel and AMD have new laptop CPUs. So there's a lot of powerful laptop hardware in the market. I imagine this will be a very stacked year for gaming laptops. So at the top, Nvidia has 4 new GPUs. They have a 5090, a 5080, a 5070 Ti, and then a regular 5070. Now, in comparison to the 40 series GPUs, we're looking at a pretty large step up in CUDA core count, but power consumption looks to be roughly the same. Now, in terms of VRAM, they're using GDDR7 memory, super fast stuff, and at the top end, that 5090 SKU has 24 gigs of VRAM. It's a crazy amount of video memory. Like, some heavy-ass games can take advantage of it, but you need to have like modded Skyrim or modded Fallout 4, like ray-traced 4K graphics. You have to push the system really hard to be able to take advantage of that memory. Now, if you're running LLMs locally, yes, models can fill that up, like certain bigger models can fill up that fairly quickly, but it's just a lot of video memory for a laptop. But the big takeaway from all of their slide material was the performance increase. The only stuff they showed was their desktop performance metrics, and very limited data at that. Now, looking at those desktop versions though, it looks to be like a 25 to 30% bump over the previous generation, if you're just talking about raw performance, and I imagine the laptop gains would be similar. Now, this data is always going to be cherry-picked by Nvidia to showcase their new products in a favorable light, right? They're just picking these ideal scenarios that their stuff looks extra good, and they're getting the biggest performance jumps when they use DLSS, their AI-based gaming toolset. And with DLSS 4, their newest iteration of it, the headlining feature is their multi-frame generation, which gives you 3 generated frames for every 1 rendered frame. And for games that support it, it seems to give you a ridiculous boost in frame rates. I do think we need to see the image quality of that stuff before we pass judgment on it, but it does seem like impressive tech. It is unfortunately a feature of DLSS 4 that is only available on the 50 series GPUs. Now, in terms of CPUs, Intel launched their Core Ultra 200 series chips, their new Arrow Lake stuff, topping out at 24 cores, and AMD also has a whole slew of new laptop chips, but the most interesting one to me is the family of Strix Halo chips. So these have a very powerful CPU and GPU on one chip. And when I say a powerful GPU, I mean on the level of like an RTX 4060 or 4070. It's the real deal. And there's one of those chips in this device. You'll see it in a minute. So a lot of powerful hardware. I was able to check out some of it. The first stuff that I saw was at an ASUS event. So first we have the ROG Strix Scar 16 and 18. This is their flagship gaming laptop this year, and it's pretty cool. So this can go up to Intel's Core Ultra 9 chip with an RTX 5090. And new for this year, it's running their Enemy Vision, which allows you to run custom messages or dates or times or memes, whatever you want. It also has a full perimeter of RGB lighting, which looks so good in person. Like, it's got this diffused underglow look. The other thing that I thought was super cool was the bottom panel being toolless. And I mean like effortless toolless. It's super easy to take the panel off and put it back on. And I wish more companies would do something like this. Not that we take apart our laptops all the time, but if you ever want to clean it or just do anything, it's just so easy on this device. The cooling seems very well done. They got a full-length vapor chamber, triple fans, liquid metal. I do find it interesting that both the 16 and 18-inch are running the same kind of configuration. They have the same battery size at 90 watt hours, but it's like the same wattage for the CPU and GPU, despite the 18-inch being a little bit bigger. We'll have to test that though. The screens, so these are running their Nebula mini LED panels, 16:10 aspect ratio, super fast, 240 hertz. They were very strict in not allowing us to like test stuff on these things. The drivers are probably not even ready yet, but those panels are not 4K. They're just QHD panels. So if you have that top end configuration with the 5090, I feel like you have to have an external monitor or multiple monitors plugged up to be able to take advantage of that powerful GPU. I also saw their regular Strix laptop, so the non-Scar version, and this is like a less flashy version of their flagship. It does not have the Enemy Vision, but it still retains the underglow perimeter, and they have these in both AMD and Intel configurations, but I don't think you can get it with an RTX 5090. It's 5080 or below when it comes to the regular Strix G16 and G18. Okay, next up. The Zephyrus G14 and G16. These are my favorite laptops from ASUS. I think these are like the best looking devices that they've ever made. I love that LED stripe. I like the aesthetics. I mean, it's super clean on the top and on the inside. This is my personal device. And the new ones look almost exactly the same. The G16 goes up to an RTX 5090 and the G14 goes up to a 5080. One thing of note, the new G14 is a little bit thicker than before. So the 2024 model is on the left, it's in the dark gray. The silver colored 2025 unit, it just has a bit of a bump on the bottom, which gives it a little bit more room to cool all the internals a little bit better, but it does make it a little bit thicker. There's also the new external GPU, the XG Mobile. This has up to a 5090 on it. It's super small and it connects with Thunderbolt 4, but the spec sheet says it requires Thunderbolt 4. Now, I would have thought that because Thunderbolt 3 has the same kind of bandwidth, 40 gigabits per second, it's got the same number of PCI lanes, that it would connect. I would have hoped it would, but maybe it's because the controller in there is like TB4 only for the stability that TB4 offers over TB3. I'm not exactly sure, but seemingly TB4 only, at least based off the spec sheet. Okay, last up is the very cool Flow Z13. So this is running that new Strix Halo chip. And it is so interesting. So this is a tablet, it's a gaming tablet. This is I think the third iteration of this product from Asus. And I mean, this product is the perfect form factor for showcasing a chip like that. So a chip that has CPU and a very powerful GPU in one, and the RAM. So it's like all one package. And this Flow Z13 is the first device I've seen with this chip. Now this chip in particular is the Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 with the 8060S GPU. This has 40 cores in that GPU. It's supposed to perform like an RTX 4070. And when I tested this thing out, I really feel like this is by far the best performing tablet we've seen on the market. It's just so much more powerful than anything we've had before just because of that Strix Halo chip. It's just super capable because it's all packaged together. I'll be testing this thing fully. I'll be doing a full review on this. I'll be doing a full review on all of the stuff we've seen today. But yeah, that's the Asus lineup. I really hope Nvidia's new laptop GPUs pan out nicely because it's been a while since they put anything out in this space. Okay, stay tuned for more CES videos this week.